Welcome to the Pursuit Chronicles, where hidden truths, bold journeys and untold stories come to life. Get ready to chase the extraordinary. The rain drizzled softly on the slate roof of James's palatial estate as he stood by the towering window, his reflection blurred in the glass. He was one of the nation's wealthiest men, with an empire of tech firms, private jets and seaside villas. Yet, despite his riches, James felt like a ghost in his own home. His wife, Victoria, only sparkled when money was at play. His daughter, Olivia, lived for the flash of her curated online life, while his son, Ethan, was quiet, always hovering near with a watchful gaze. One evening, James sat at the long oak dining table, the chandelier casting cold light over his family. Victoria barely glanced at him, her fingers tracing the rim of a crystal glass. Olivia giggled at her phone, lost in a stream of likes and comments. Only Ethan met his eyes, his voice soft. "Dad, you all right?" James managed a faint smile. "I'm okay, Ethan." But deep down, he wasn't. He was exhausted by shallow affection, by being a wallet instead of a husband or father. He needed to know if his family loved him or just the gilded cage he provided. That night, when the mansion was still, James called his loyal assistant. Clara, he said, voice low. "Move all my assets to the offshore account. Suspend the businesses for now. Tell the board I'm on an indefinite leave and no one must know I'm still wealthy." Clara's voice wavered. "Sir, this will turn your family upside down. Are you sure?" James's tone was resolute. "That's the idea. I'm testing them." The next morning he summoned his family to the opulent living room, its marble floors gleaming under morning light. Victoria swept in, irritation etched on her face. "What's so urgent, James? I have a brunch." James took a steadying breath. "I've lost everything. The company's tanked. The banks froze our accounts. We're broke." Victoria's glass slipped from her hand, shattering. "Broke? You're joking." James shook his head, his voice heavy. "I wish I was. We're leaving this house today. The only place left is my late father's cabin in the mountains." Olivia's eyes widened. "Mountains? Are you serious? That's like the middle of nowhere." Ethan looked at his father, voice calm. "Is this real, Dad?" James nodded. "It's all we have." Victoria's voice rose to a shriek. "You useless man. How do you let this happen? What kind of husband are you?" James didn't reply, turning away. Ethan followed, his hand brushing James's arm. "Dad, we'll figure it out." James's throat tightened as he smiled. "Thank you, Ethan. You don't know how much that means." By evening, they packed a few belongings into worn duffels. The mansion, once alive with staff, was silent. No maids, no drivers. James drove them in a battered pickup Clara had arranged, the mountain road rough and winding. Victoria complained every mile, her voice sharp. "This is torture. My shoes are ruined." Olivia clutched her phone, refusing to look out the window. "No signal, no vibe. This is a prison." Ethan sat quietly, occasionally squeezing his father's shoulder from the back seat. After hours, they arrived at a weathered cabin nestled in a pine grove, its wooden walls chipped and roof patched with tin. Victoria stepped out, her face contorted. "This is a shack. You expect me to live here?" Olivia covered her nose. "It smells like mold. Gross." James surveyed the cabin calmly. "This was my father's. We'll manage." Victoria laughed bitterly. "Manage? Me, Victoria, in this dump? After penthouses and yacht parties?" Olivia whined. "No Wi-Fi, no hot water, no mirrors. This is inhumane." Ethan stayed silent, helping James haul bags inside. The door groaned open to a dusty room with a sagging couch, a wobbly table, and cobwebs clinging to the rafters. Victoria refused to cross the threshold. "Take me back to the city, James. Now." James's voice was firm. This is our reality now. That evening, James fumbled with a pile of firewood outside, his hands unused to the task. Sparks flew. Smoke stung his eyes. Ethan knelt beside him, arranging logs with care. "I watched Grandpa do this when I was little," he said, blowing gently to coax the flames. James nodded, his voice thick. "You're keeping me grounded, son." Victoria sat on a stump, inspecting her chipped nails. "No manicures, no streaming, no climate control. This is a nightmare." Olivia paced, waving her phone futilely. "No Instagram, no stories. Are we even in civilization?" That night, they squeezed onto a lumpy mattress in a cramped room, a flickering oil lamp, their only light. Mosquitoes droned in the dark. Victoria swatted her arms, cursing. Olivia tossed fitfully, muttering about her ruined skincare routine. James lay awake, staring at the cracked ceiling. Ethan whispered, "Dad, this is rough, but we're together. We'll make it." James's heart swelled. For the first time in years, he felt a flicker of true connection, not with his wife or daughter, but with his son. Morning came with a rooster's crow, shattering the silence. Victoria groaned. "What is that god-awful noise?" James rose, stretching. "It's a new day. Time to start fresh." Olivia emerged, her hair tangled, arms dotted with bites. "I can't do this. I need a spa." James ignored her, picking up a rusty hoe. "We'll need to plant if we want to eat." Victoria laughed mockingly. "Plant? Me digging in dirt? You're delusional." Olivia crossed her arms. "I'd rather die." Ethan took the hoe. "I'll help, Dad." James's eyes glistened. With pride. "Let's do it, son." As they walked to a patchy garden plot, James felt a mix of grief and resolve. Ethan was his anchor, but the others were slipping away. Meanwhile, Victoria lingered at the cabin, scheming. She noticed a group of locals at a nearby market stall, among them a man in a tailored blazer. Mr. Caldwell, a wealthy rancher. Her eyes lit up. That afternoon she approached him, her voice honeyed. "Good day, sir. We're new here, fallen on hard times." Caldwell tipped his hat. "A lady like you shouldn't suffer. Care for a coffee?" Victoria sat with him at a rustic cafe, laughing and sipping latte while James and Ethan toiled under the sun, breaking hard soil with blunted tools. Back at the cabin, Olivia slipped off to a local bar, catching the eye of a married shopkeeper, Mr. Hayes. He offered her cash and trinkets for discreet visits. Olivia smirked. "You've got a deal." Days turned to weeks, and Victoria's absences grew blatant. She'd return with perfume, canned goods, or new scarves, claiming they were gifts from neighbors. Ethan noticed her pristine hands, untouched by labor, and the faint scent of cologne, but held his tongue. One evening, James sat with Ethan under a starlit sky. "Dad," Ethan asked, "will we ever go back to the city?" James sighed. "Maybe, but only with those who value what matters." Ethan frowned, sensing more but not pressing. The test was peeling back layers of truth, each revelation heavier than the last. Victoria's routine solidified. Every afternoon, she'd don her finest dress, dab on saved-up perfume, and head to the town's lone inn, Pineview Lodge. There, Caldwell waited, a self-styled king in a private suite. He'd bribed the desk clerk, a young woman named Lila, with $50 weekly to keep his trysts with Victoria secret from his 3 wives. "Lila," he'd whisper, sliding her the cash. "If my wives ask, you never saw me." Lila nodded nervously. One afternoon, Victoria swept into the suite, hips swaying. Caldwell grinned, pouring her wine. "My darling, you're radiant." Victoria laughed, sipping. "You know how to make a woman feel alive." He leaned closer. Leave that broken husband of yours. I'm building you a house. Bigger than this whole town. I've got land, cattle, investments. I'm not just rich. I'm untouchable. Victoria's eyes gleamed. You mean it? Caldwell nodded. You'll live like a queen. They laughed, lost in their fantasy. As Victoria left through a side exit, Lila watching, she hummed, dreaming of her new life. Back at the cabin, James and Ethan repaired a broken fence. Ethan glanced up. Where's Mum again? James sighed. Fetching water, she says. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Her hands showed no sign of buckets or soap. That night, Victoria served herself and Olivia a lavish meal from her market gifts, leaving James and Ethan with stale bread. In their shared room, Victoria whispered to Olivia about Caldwell's promises. Olivia gasped. Mum, you'll be a queen? Victoria nodded. And you find your own rich man. We're done with this misery. They giggled like conspirators, oblivious to the cost of their choices. One sweltering afternoon, Olivia lounged outside, wearing a tight dress from Hayes. She scrolled her dead phone, feigning busyness. Suddenly, a woman stormed into the yard. Mrs. Hayes, her face thunderous. Where's that homewrecker? She bellowed. Olivia looked up, popping her gum. Who's yelling like a banshee? Mrs. Hayes jabbed a finger. You, seducing my husband. Stay away. Olivia laughed. Your husband chased me, lady. Blame him. Mrs. Hayes's voice shook. I've been with him 20 years, and you, a spoiled brat, think you can ruin us? Olivia stood, smirking. Look at you, all frumpy. No wonder he's bored. He wants youth, not baggage. Mrs. Hayes trembled. God will judge you. As she stormed off, James emerged from the shed, having heard every word. Olivia, he called, voice heavy. She rolled her eyes. What now? James stepped closer. Is it true? You're with that woman's husband? Olivia shrugged. So what? James's voice cracked. You're my daughter. This is wrong. You're destroying a family. Olivia snapped. You destroyed ours, dragging us from a mansion to this dump. You failed, Dad. I'm surviving the only way I know how. James's eyes welled. I just want you to choose better. Olivia scoffed. Better? Like you did, losing everything. Spare me. She stormed inside, leaving James shattered. The next morning, Ethan caught Victoria dressing up again. Silk scarf, bold lipstick. He blocked the door, voice steady. Mum, we need to talk. Victoria sighed. If it's another sermon, save it. Ethan didn't budge. This life you and Olivia are chasing, it's wrong. The town's talking. Victoria laughed. Let them. Gossip's cheap. Ethan pressed. It's about dignity. What happened to the mum I admired? Victoria's face hardened. She died when your father failed us, dragging us to this hellhole. Ethan's voice softened. He's still your husband. Victoria snapped. He's nothing now. A nobody. Ethan shook his head. And this man you're chasing? What's he giving you that Dad didn't? Victoria smirked. Respect, attention, a future. Ethan's voice dropped. He's giving you scraps, Mom. You're worth more. Victoria grabbed her purse. I'm your mother. Don't lecture. Me. She pushed past, leaving Ethan with tears brimming. Victoria strode down the dusty road, dreaming of Caldwell's promised mansion. A voice cut through her thoughts. Husband stealer. It was Mara, one of Caldwell's wives, arms crossed, eyes blazing. Victoria smirked. Who let you out of your cage? Mara stepped closer. You, city trash, breaking my marriage. Have you no shame? Victoria laughed. Shame? I wore emeralds while you were scrubbing floors. Step aside. Mara's voice was ice. You think Caldwell's rich? His watches are fake. His deals are smoke. You're chasing a lie. Victoria froze. What? Mara sneered. Everyone knows he's a fraud. Wake up. Victoria shoved her. You're jealous, Mara shoved back. You're pathetic. They grappled, dust swirling as passers-by gawked. A child yelled, "City lady fighting!" Victoria broke free, adjusting her scarf, and stormed to the inn. She burst into Caldwell's suite. "Is it true? Your wealth's a sham?" Caldwell wiped his mouth slowly. "You believe my wife over me?" Victoria shouted. "Show me the gold." Caldwell stood, voice cold. "You're unhinged." "It's real." Victoria scoffed. "You're a liar. I lived with real wealth, private islands, gold faucets. I should have seen through you." Caldwell's face darkened. "You left your husband for money. You're the fool. Get out." Victoria stumbled out, villagers whispering as she passed. "There's the city woman," one said. "Thought she was above us." Another laughed. She reached the cabin, collapsing on a rock, shame and regret crashing over her. James approached, his voice low. "Victoria, I'm ashamed of you." She looked up, defiant. "What?" James's eyes were hard. "The town's buzzing. You fought over a man. My name's tainted because of you." Victoria stood. "You dare judge me. You brought us here." James shook his head. "You traded your honor for trinkets. You're not the woman I married." Victoria laughed coldly. "And you're not the man I loved. Go away." James turned, voice final. "You've made your choice." The next morning, James found Victoria outside. "I got a job," he said. "In the city as a janitor. Ethan and I leave tomorrow." Victoria laughed. "A janitor? You're pathetic. You think I'll follow you to be a cleaner's wife?" James's voice was calm. "I didn't ask you to. You've chosen your path." Victoria smirked. "Good. I'll thrive here without you." The next day, Ethan packed a small bag and followed James to the bus station. Victoria and Olivia watched, laughing. "Peace at last," Olivia said. Victoria stretched. "No more nagging. We're free." They giggled, oblivious to the storm brewing. In the city, James and Ethan stepped off the bus, the skyline a stark contrast to the mountains. After winding through busy streets, they stopped at a gated mansion, its glass facade gleaming, a sleek fountain in the courtyard. Ethan frowned. "Dad, is this your job?" James smiled, pulling out a key fob. The gate slid open. "No, Ethan. This is our home." Ethan's jaw dropped. "Ours?" "But you said—" James chuckled. "We were never broke. I sold the old estate to test everyone. I wanted to see who valued family over money." Ethan processed, stunned. "So, the cabin, the hardship, it was all a lie?" James nodded. "A test. You passed, Ethan. You stayed loyal." Ethan's voice wavered. "And Mum, Olivia." James's face hardened. "They chose their path. I gave them a chance to come back. They refused." Ethan swallowed, torn. "I wish it didn't end like this." James squeezed his shoulder. "Me too. But we can't change them. Let's build a life here, one rooted in truth." Ethan nodded, stepping into the mansion, its luxury a stark contrast to the cabin. "Let's make it ours, Dad." Back in the mountains, Victoria and Olivia sat outside the cabin. A local trader, Amos, approached, panting. "Madame Victoria, Miss Olivia," he said. "I was in the city, saw your husband, rich again, living in a mansion grander than before." Victoria laughed. "Amos, you're drunk. James, rich? He's a janitor." Olivia smirked. "He's probably sweeping the floors of that mansion." Amos insisted. "I saw him open the gate with a key. He and Ethan, dressed sharp, living large." Victoria waved him off. "He's pretending. That man's finished." Olivia nodded. "Tell him we said he's a loser." Amos shook his head and left. Victoria turned to Olivia, whispering, "The mayor's asked me to be his mistress. I'll live in his estate soon." Olivia clapped. "And my guy's leaving his wife for me. We're set, Mum." They laughed, blind to their folly, unaware they'd traded a real fortune for glittering lies. Time ticked on, and the truth loomed like thunder on the horizon. Thanks for watching the Pursuit Chronicles. If the story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the pursuit never ends.